What's up, everybody? It is your sis and your friend, Crystal Cross, right here on the Morning Jam podcast, where we talk about any and everything. Personal, old snaps and claps. It's a dang good day to talk about a few things. So let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? It is your sis and your friend, Crystal Cross, right here on the Morning Jam podcast. I am super excited. Listen here, I'm going to try and change my camera right quick and see if it works this way. Oh, no. So we're going to go back this way. Okay. So
Sideways.
I'm excited. It's okay. You're good. I am so excited today to have the one and only Miss Shanta Atkins. How are you, sis?
I am well. Lots happening, but I'm well. Thank God.
I know, and I'm sorry about your friend. I am so sorry.
Listen, it was a lot, but I had to stay calm. I did jump out of the car, but I was. I said, wait a minute. Did we just get hit? What? Did you just drive off? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm here.
Amen. So I'm blessed. I'm like so honored to have you on my show, the Morning Gem podcast. Thank you for coming on. I'm so looking forward to this interview. For the first question, I would love to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Oh, well, you know what? I probably should have sent you some stuff. I'm just Shanta. I do a lot of things. You can check out my bio. I don't know if that was sent to you, but
It was,
minister, I have my own podcast, I'm a teacher, missionary, I do all the things, a lot of things. So
awesome. Awesome. You're great. So I just appreciate you just again being on here. And I love when I saw your bio. I'm going to get into that now. I saw your bio and your pictures are like flawless. I just got to
thank you.
And you are beautiful. Out of all the sisters, I think you look like Erica the most.
Well, I've never had that said before, so that's
Really?
different.
Really?
No, most people think I look more like Tina. Mm-hmm. I think it may be some pictures that where I look like Erica, but just for the just like in my daily life, I've never heard anybody say I look like Erica. So
yes. Okay, but this interview is not about your sister. This is about you, Shanta Atkins, and this is what we're going to focus on. And I know that in you're a music family, come from a music family as starting a young child. Listen, I'm going to tell you personally, I am number 11 out of 12 children. I'm
wow.
Next. So we have singing on my mom's side and on my dad's side. So
okay.
My dad
That's
was
awesome.
the nice Ike Turner. so tell us a little bit about you singing, because I know that you have your own music as well.
What specifically when you say about my singing, like when the start or like?
Yes, like the start of it. Did you always want to sing, even with your sisters being older? And did you just always want to follow after their footstep, or is it just something that just fell into?
Yeah, so it wasn't following after anyone's footsteps at all. I sang because God really dealt with me about coming out as an artist. So in that capacity, now, of course, grew up singing in the church choir. I was forced to join the choir when I was 11. And so that was that. But as far as me singing, it wasn't about my sisters at all. It wasn't about following in anyone's footsteps at all. It was more so God is telling me to do this. And so if this is what he wants me to do, that's what I'm going to do. So
now
that's how I became an artist.
Yeah. So in that, did you kind of like run from that just a little bit? Like, okay, singing is already in my family, so let me just lean towards something else.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. Yeah. So I definitely didn't want to do it because for me, of course, you can't get away from people constantly mentioning your sisters and all that. So it's just like, oh God, like I'm my own individual, but it would always come up all the time. Oh, you're Little Man Mary. So nobody wants to feel like who they are is filtered through who somebody else is. Well, at least for me. So I'm not the type where I'm just like, oh, I want to model myself like this person or model myself like that person. I believe in being an individual. Now I'm grateful for people who do the things that I aspire to do. But as it pertains to being an artist, not so much just singing, because I was singing in the choir, right? I started leading, right? But when you go into that space where you say, I'm not just a singer, I'm going to be a musical artist, I'm going to release music, that's very different. So as it pertains to that, saying, okay, I'm going to be a music artist, that's very different. And that came about simply because it was prophesied to me for about 7 years. So when you say running, yeah, I just was like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't even look at it as running. I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. Like
Yeah.
until I believe like this is literally what God is telling me to do, I'm not going to do it. Because it can't be, oh, well, people say, or oh, you sing, or oh, you should do this. Because you can really be swayed by what people are telling you to do, and it's really not what you want to do. And I
Yeah.
believe that it will come off like that. At least for me, I'm that type of person. When I don't want to do something, it's like really, really obvious. So I wanted my heart to be really obvious, painfully obvious. I wanted to make sure it was something where that it was a situation where my heart was right. Okay. So I wanted to make sure my heart was in it, especially when you're singing gospel. Now, if I'm doing any other genre, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, if I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to be singing, gospel Christian music, I'm not going to do this with a heart posture of, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the point where finally I was just like, okay, God, give me the desire that you have for me. So whatever you desire for me to do, allow that to be my desire, right? Because we always say, oh, God, give me the desires of my heart. And what people
Mm-hmm.
mean when they say that is, give me what I'm already desiring. Like, don't give me what to desire. And so for me, it was more so, God, give me what to desire. So if you desire this for me, then change my desires. And he did that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I moved forward in it.
Yeah, was it ever a point that because of you being shy at all? Because I know for me, I stood in the background for my sisters for a very long time, and then I finally got out to, okay, I can do this on my, I can actually sing. Was it a point, and even ministering, was it a point of you
Mm-hmm.
being shy at all?
Yeah, so shyness and timidity, I believe, is rooted in fear. So yes, it was a lot of fears, but it was fears. For one, I was a perfectionist, so I don't like making mistakes in singing. I don't like making mistakes in anything, but it's a part of life. So I had
Yeah.
to definitely deal with the fear, and then knowing, so it's one thing to sing at your church. It's one thing to sing
Mm-hmm.
background, because I have been traveling since I was 19 singing. I think that's probably what a lot of people don't know. I started singing background when I was 14, so been 20 years that I've been in and out of singing in a professional singer. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I'll say fear for sure. But it was not just fear. It was really like, I don't want to do this because I know what it entails. Of course, seeing my sisters go through the things they went through, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
this ain't for me as far as being an artist. Because you can sing, but it
Exactly.
depends on, you could sing anywhere. You could sing on mission trips. You could sing in your church. You could
Mm-hmm.
sing in a bathroom. You could sing. So I think it's more about what context you're supposed to be in, and where you're supposed to use that singing gift, and if you're going to write music, and if it's so much more to it, to being an artist, than just singing.
Mm-hmm. So who inspired you most to do what you do? That's been a singer, that's been a writer, that's been a producer. So who inspired you most in that
The
genre, in
Holy
that
Ghost.
area?
Yeah, I would say the Holy Ghost.
Mm-hmm. Nothing but
Why
God,
would I
huh?
say that? I mean, as far as why I'm doing it now, I have people that I like. I wouldn't say, because here's the thing, I didn't say, oh, I want to sing because this person's singing. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like that for me. I have a lot of people who I love their music, and I've listened to their music, and they've helped me to grow as an individual. But
Mm-hmm.
saying like, I want to sing because this person is singing, it wasn't that type of inspiration. Let me just say that. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as people whose music I like, the people whose music I really listen to, of course I listen to my sister's music, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, as far as, let me see, influences, I love Stevie Wonder. I love Donny Hathaway. He'd be a little depressed, but I like Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let's see. Of course, Kiera. I love her. Um, Jason Nelson. Uh, Harold Lilly, who a lot of people don't know is an amazing, amazing writer. And just a little background on him. Harold Lilly wrote some amazing songs. He wrote the song for "Can I Take You Out Tonight to the Movie, to the Park." But he's a songwriter like across the genres. So as
Yeah.
far as writing, I would say he inspired me. because I was like, man, he just writes songs so effortlessly, and they're good. And so when I did get to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to sing, so I have to write, I remember the conversations we would have and how he would encourage me. And for me, it's all about people who personally encouraged me along the way, not so much people who are kind of far removed, but people in my daily life who encouraged me. I remember when I was working at a residential facility, it was a woman named Deborah Morales, and she would always call me Songbird all the time. So she would just be like, sing, Songbird, sing, So I think about those small things like that. I think when asked questions like this, like who inspires you, I feel like a lot of people go to like their favorite celebrity or something. But for me, it's the people who I had a personal connection with, who encouraged me in times where I really needed it, encouraged me in times where I wasn't thinking about it. I have another friend, her name is Antonia Shaw. We call her Tone, and she would always be like, can you sing the Black, literally it was just like the Black national anthem, but she was just like, can you sing, or can you? I'm just like, all right. But these are people who I met just along the way of, you know what I'm saying, who would push me like to sing more, like we want to hear. And I'd be like, oh, I also felt like a lot of the industry and entertainment and just gospel was really oversaturated. So I'm just like, what am I going to do this for? Like, I just feel like it was already too many people. It's just too much. So I wanted to do something else. I'm like, nobody wants to do a mission trip. People don't want to, feed the poor, all that. Like, that's what I was into, So
yeah. So what got you into like wanting to deal with the homeless or feeding the poor and all of that? So what got you? Was it somebody that you kind of saw, or you was just driving down the street like I do all the time, be like, oh man, I just feel so bad about seeing that person on the street. So what was it for you?
As far as serving, I would say, of course, I believe we're called to do that. So it's a command from God. We're called to do that. I started volunteering with my family, so that it was just something that we did. My church, they would go and feed the homeless. So it was something that I was kind of raised doing. Of course, I have moments where I'm just like, oh my God, they're going through this. But for me, it was something that I was raised up in. So we were raised to serve. And so it's just like, this is what we're supposed to do.
That's awesome. So where has the most favorite place that you have been to serve?
As far like location,
yes, like even out of the state or out of the United States?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite place to serve. I would say my favorite place that I did go, because I've done mission trips in Nicaragua, in Colombia, in Mexico. So I go to a lot of South American countries. But as far as my favorite place to visit, sorry, I got a call.
No, that's okay.
I don't know that I've visited a place that I could call my favorite. Yeah.
You
So
just love them all.
I just travel. Well, I just like traveling. I like exploring new places, but I don't have a favorite place. No.
So if someone wanted to, get into serving and going to different places like that, how would they do that? Even being with you, like if I wanted to, okay, Shanta, let's connect together and let's travel together and serve. So how would that person get in connection with that?
Well, it depends on how they want to serve. So when you say serve in what capacity?
Like you do like traveling with the ministry, with feeding, with even with clothing and stuff like that. So how would they connect with?
So I don't do feeding and clothing.
Okay.
So
what range do you? Yeah. So how is that for you?
I do mission trips and orphanages. Did they send you my bio? Or were you able to read it? Okay. Yeah. So it talked about an organization that I have. I don't know if you saw that part. Talked about an organization that is called Melodies for Missions. It was previously Love Changes Lives. And so the capacity in which I serve is I go to orphanages and I build orphanages and things like that. So there's a number of ways.
I was thinking that you were doing more food with them and clothing. So you just go. Okay.
No, okay, yeah, no. But it specifically says that I go to orphanages and build orphanages. So awesome. So we lay concrete, we lay the foundation. They do have giveaways, but that's not like for me, the primary thing is not feeding and clothing. It's more so ministering. I do now, don't get me wrong, I do give away clothes and stuff like that, but that's not the majority of why we go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're literally going to build dormitories for children who are in orphanages and things like that. I've also served on a domestic mission trip in Texas when there was Hurricane Harvey. And with Hurricane Harvey, houses were completely destroyed. So we went and rebuilt.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that. For me, I would love to get into going and helping build like that. That is amazing. I love that you are out in the fields, and because we, as servants of God, we have got to go into the highways and byways, like God tells us to do. And for us to even do that, we definitely have to make a move. And I love that you're making that move and making that step. So, in your music, who would you love to collab with?
I would say PJ Morton is one of my all-time favorites. And I love PJ Morton.
Why do you love PJ Morton?
He's an amazing writer. So for me, it's all about lyrics. So he's an amazing writer. He's been doing music for a very long time. Now he's across genres as well. So I believe he writes from the heart, and what he sings about is believable, So for me, I just feel like he's like the soundtrack to different portions of my life. And so I love the fact that he writes. I love the fact that he stayed authentic to who he was. And of course, he's raised in church. He wrote some amazing gospel songs. Like oh my God, Let Go and Let God is one of my favorites by him. So yeah, I would love to work with PJ Morton. And on the secular side, I would just say Lauryn Hill, only because I love Lauryn Hill. But as far as in gospel or Christian, there's not really any other artists that I would want to work with.
See, I think that you're amazing already because, I listen to your music and your voice is really, really, really anointed and really great. So for me, I'm a singer, I'm a soprano, and I take my soprano very serious. Like my sisters, I sing with them and they said, okay, let me sing the soprano part. I'd be like, I got this under control. Has it ever been a time where you and your sisters sang together and you're like, okay, I got this part, and you take this part, or they'd be like, no, I got this part. Has there ever been like a conversation like that with you guys?
No, because we usually go in and it's kind of already set. You sing as soprano, alto, tenor.
That's cool.
It's usually already set.
Look, it's just me then.
Look, well, when we're singing together, we don't really often sing together unless it's really in the studio, honestly. So if we're singing together, like say in the choir, we already have our section. So it's not like we kind of. So when you say that you are trying to figure out which part, that's singing like where, just in church or in like where would those, I guess, that conflict
wherever
come up?
you go on, like in church or like going to events and sing.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my sisters and I, we don't sing together like that. When we do sing, it's more so we're singing for a show with Mary or something like that, and so it's already kind of set like who's singing what part.
Well, that's cool. I love that. For me and my sisters, we've been singing since, oh my gosh, forever. My parents actually found out that we could sing when we were singing the Little Mermaid song.
Oh, wow.
So we were like, oh, y'all need to sit down and we're going to show y'all something what we can do. And they were
That's
like,
cool.
what? Y'all can sing? And it just built from there. And we just was in church like 24/7.
Yeah, understood.
So, yeah. So what is next for Shanta? What's next for you?
So I'll be releasing an EP this year and also my devotional. But my focus right now is not so much on the music because I teach. So I'm a full-time 7th grade teacher. I teach history, Black history, all that good stuff. And I'm actually in grad school working on my master's. So it's just a lot happening. But yeah,
congratulations on that.
Thank you. And soon enough, I'll be launching a deliverance ministry for children ages 2 to 18. So, yeah, that's that.
Wow, that's amazing. See, I love that. I love meeting strong, beautiful women that's out here doing the thing, being entrepreneurs, getting their stuff, and just really going after what they want. What would you say to someone that's right now just trying to reach where you're at in life, trying to finish school, trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to start their business, trying to go on missions trips? What would you say to that person to keep them encouraged to not to give up?
Well, for one, depending on what God has called you to and what you're gonna be doing, for one, make sure you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So if you're going to be doing mission trips, why? If you're going to be starting your business, why? How? You know what I mean? For me, like I said, I am not a full-time entrepreneur. I am a full-time teacher. So you just got to know where you're called to. I know some people are just like, you know, the goal is always entrepreneurship. But for me, and I do have, you know, a business, but my main thing is more so teaching. So I think that you need to know what you're called to and why, and then in what order you're going to do it. So I know for me, because I teach, I know that summertime, okay, that's my time to, you know, really go to different nations and stuff like that. I had to know who I was going to connect with to go. So some of the mission trips that I've gone with was not through my church. It was literally through another Christian that I met, and I went with their church. So you just have to know, you have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then who you're going to be connected to when doing it. So as far as ministry is concerned, when it comes to mission trips and serving, there's a lot of different mission trips for a lot of different reasons in different organizations and denominations. So you need to know specifically what organization or denomination or just local church that you are going to serve with, where you're going to serve, right? And if you're in school, listen, I be half about to give up all the time, but you just got to keep going, keep praying, keep just gratefulness and thankfulness. So I'm constantly trying to just remain grateful and thankful for, you know, just good employment, because I like my job. I know some people hate their job and that's what pushes them to entrepreneurship, but I like my job. I love teaching. I love the population that I serve. I love the people that I work with. And so whatever you're doing, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you're going to be a full-time entrepreneur, I think that you make sure you're organized, make sure you have your goals set. And yeah.
Wow,
That's it.
I love that. And I love that you're a teacher too. So even reaching the children each and every day, is it virtual now where you are, or is it you
Yes.
guys
So
still
for
back in?
me, for me,
Wow.
so it's everything is virtual distance learning. So it's a lot, but yeah, distance learning.
So in that, so how has the COVID been there for you guys in California?
So I'm not in California. I live in
You're not in
Chicago.
California. Why am I thinking that
Yeah,
you're in California? I'm so
I don't
sorry. See, I
know.
got you all
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah. So I moved to Chicago 2 years ago. Excuse me. And I would repeat your question again.
I said, how was
How is
the
it
COVID
with
for you? Yeah, they're teaching with
Oh,
your students
so
and
I
everything.
think so everything is dependent upon like different cases. I don't watch the news and I don't really my perspective is different with the whole pandemic. I call it a pandemic.
Yeah,
Very different. I think well, not I think, I know it was all planned. um all of this, it was something called Event 201 that was
yeah,
done by Bill Gates and a lot of other people in power, where they literally had a simulation of a pandemic, and then the pandemic was rolled out in 2020. So I believe that people are hyping it up more than they need to. A lot of people are scared and afraid. I'm not. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that there are many people who are recovering. I think that this
hmm,
speaks to just the whole thing with the whole pandemic speaks to the health crisis that people are in, the health
yeah,
crisis that people are in, and what people believe about health, who they trust with their health, how they take care of their bodies, and all of that.
right.
So for me, it's been rather difficult, just seeing how people are just kind of succumbing to just the fear and all the
Mhm.
tactics that are being put on by mainstream media and all of that. And just I think that uh that's been the difficult part during this what I say pandemic.
So in the pandemic, I like that. Do you feel like it was a population control thing that
Yes.
happened?
I don't, well,
Absolutely.
I won't say that it was even population control, because so I'll say this. I do believe the virus was created, and I've watched a lot of different doctors, non-mainstream, mainstream,
Hmm.
a lot of different shows, a lot of different news outlets, a lot of different articles, a lot of different videos. Like literally, I inundated myself with information just so that I could just get a good
Yeah,
idea, a good balance, right? So I'm not the type of person that's going to watch the news, because I know that a part of what their agenda is to instill fear. It's not like you're going to watch news
yeah,
and feel better about life. life, you watch news, you usually see something bad that's going on, and now you're afraid, and oh my God, and what about this? You got to pay attention to what you watch and the effect that it has on you, because then you know what the mission is. Like, it's not like you're watching it to become better, right? But just in my opinion. So with the pandemic, I've seen a lot of just different doctors just say a lot of different things that's so contrary to mainstream media, like I said. And I know a lot of people who have had COVID and have recovered, and I see a lot more people dying from COVID when they go to the hospital, with people who are quarantining and using natural remedies that they say is not really treating it. I'm like, well, I've seen more people recover and be, treat and recover from COVID and be healed through natural remedies. So like I said earlier, I believe that this speaks to the larger health crisis, where people's faith rely, who is the source of their healing or the source of their their information. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I'm not being afraid, I'm just being safe. Well, are you being really safe if you're eating fast food every day? Are you really being safe if you're not drinking water? Are you really being safe if you're not taking vitamins? Are you really being safe if you're not taking any type of herbs? Are you really being safe if you are listening to crazy stuff? Are you really being safe if you're drinking and smoking? Are you really being no, you know what I'm saying? You're still, guess what? People die from cigarette smoke. People are still smoking cigarettes, right? Is a killer. They didn't ban that. So my thing is, if these entities that are releasing this information to try to help us be safe, if you care so much about the health of a nation, ban cigarette smokes, because that causes cancer. I know people who have died from cancer from secondhand smoke. If you are really concerned about people's health, I don't think that these entities are really concerned about people's health. And I think that people don't know that, because for me, and like I said, I've had friends who have COVID. I go and I take them care packages. I'm going to give you some alkaline water. I'm going to give you this vitamin C, zinc, elderberry, turmeric, ginger, all of these things. So like I said, it speaks to a larger health crisis, I think, in our nation and over the world, and how we approach health. I'm not the smallest person in the world, but that doesn't mean that I'm not the healthiest, right? So there you are.
Right. That's awesome. So do you plan to take the vaccine?
Absolutely not. I am an anti-vaxxer, full-on anti-vaxxer. Never thought about it. Never going to take it.
Wait a minute now, Shanta. Now, when you was a baby, your mama gave you some shots.
I was, because I had to.
Yeah. Because you had to. Well, what about when you were younger?
I wasn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to. I was a child.
So now that you're grown, you're going to make your own decisions. Like, mama, I'm not doing this.
Well, I wouldn't have to even consult my mother. You know what I mean? That was something like, you're in your parents' care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm a complete anti-vaxxer. I know a lot of people who have filed lawsuits against Pfizer and Moderna because the vaccinations. Wow. Yeah, Pfizer and Moderna has more lawsuits against them for people who have had effects from vaccinations than any other company. And they're the one who's pushing the vaccine. But yeah, I'm not for vaccines at all. I know a lot of people who have it's just a lot. And I make sure I look up my information. So I'm not just one that's just going to talk and not going to, verify. But I follow a lot of people who are anti-vaxxers, and I've been looking into this. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. Before all of this, like since 2015, I connected with the Nation of Islam, because of the Nation of Islam really speaks to the corruption that we see in government, and I don't really see too many Christians doing that. And they really were helping a lot of families who had adverse effects to vaccinations. But I don't want to really deal with vaccinations. We don't have to talk about that, because I'll go in.
So thank you for a little spill on the pandemic. I thank you for that as well. Well, right here on the Morning Jam podcast with your sis and your friend Crystal Cross, right here with the one and only Shanta Atkins. I do appreciate you, sis, for coming on here, just laying out who you are, what you stand for, and what you are doing here to support, students, the ones that's overseas and taking care, and then your ministry, your mission, and all of that. So I do appreciate you. So let the people know right here on the Morning Jam where they can connect with you and get you booked for any events.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and now let me see, Clubhouse, or at Shanta Atkins, or it's Shanta Atkins. I have my website, shantaatkins.com, and then my booking email, bookshantaatkins@gmail.com. Yeah.
I so appreciate you for coming in and just really blessing me with your presence. Like I said, it's not all about me. It's not all about you, but it's about everybody reaching, or about the two of us reaching the next heart. I have a show that's coming to New Orleans that I would love to have you be a special guest on that. And it will be a show called Heart to Heart. It's a platform for women where we will just reach the hearts. And when they leave, it's going to be all about mission and just supporting different women, all race. And I just would love to have you as a special guest, but we'll talk about that later. But I
All right,
appreciate
sure.
you for being right here on the Morning Jam with your sis and your friend Crystal Cross. You have a wonderful day. You guys be careful out there in Chicago.
All right.
And I hope that everything, be blessed and taken care of with the accident as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye.
Same to you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, tune in each week on thinkingoutloudnetwork.com. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share with your friends and family. Until next time, peace.